Hey guys, how's it going? So for this week I felt like drawing a character from Starcraft 2. I don't know if it was because of the amount of replays I've been watching, and if you guys play Starcraft, you would know who she is. Well, I guess you would know anyways because of the title, but you'll find this portrait of her if you decide to play the Terran race. She keeps you up to date on the activity that's going on throughout your game, such as letting you know if you have sufficient resources, if you have encountered enemy units, or if your base is under attack. Things of that nature. She actually has a bluish-green turquoise tint, which is a little darker in value than what I have laid out on the page. But I just wanted to keep her face a little light so that there'll be a little bit more contrast with the plugs that are on the back of her head. And speaking of her face, I don't remember how to trigger it, but there is an animation where her face separates, exposing components underneath her shell. The majority of it is black, but still I thought it was interesting to watch. So I shaded in the mechanical details like the part lines and components on her head. As I start to make the transition to the plugs on the back of her head, I was trying to figure out where to start. There were just so many plugs, so I basically worked throughout the page and started to connect the different elements together. There were two things I tried to keep in mind. One thing was to make these features slightly darker so that there would be some contrast between these components and her face. The second thing I wanted to do was smooth out the edge and try to allow more flow of the plugs. Because the reference I used was a computer-generated rendering, it's going to have a few jagged edges on cylindrical shapes that are changing direction. So if I smooth it out the transition, it will help the flow and help it look more natural. With the plugs all shaded, I go on to work on the support that would hold her in place. There was a handle on the side and a mechanical pivot I kept pretty light, but I made the rest of the support dark. I think they are darker than the plugs so that the plugs don't really blend in. When I finish the support, I move on to draw in her right shoulder and draw in the circular shapes. I then move on to her neck, which is the darkest area in terms of value. I filled it in section by section and gave some highlights on some of the edges of the part lines. I finished the piece off by drawing in her upper body, and unlike her face, I gave her body a little bit of texture, kind of this weathered look created by the surrounding elements. I also added in the final details like the screws and color in the eyes. So I'm going to let this video run. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to my subscribers for supporting my channel. So I'll be uploading another one soon, so until then, take care.